my name is Chris, and this is Truth Tuesday. I'm super excited to be able to talk about this today. I was reading in 1 Samuel 3 this morning as I was doing my daily devotion, and I've read this several times, and you probably know the story about Samuel and being called and hearing the voice of the Lord. And you remember that Samuel had a mom who was married to a priest, and her name was Hannah, and she couldn't have children, and she waited and prayed, and she was made fun of because she couldn't have children. And finally, she, prayed before God, and Eli was the priest at Shiloh at the tabernacle, and Eli said, "Hannah, your prayers are going to be answered." And so she went home and conceived and gave birth to Samuel. And when Samuel was weaned, she gave him to the Lord to serve at the tabernacle in Shiloh like she had promised him. And we read in 1 Samuel 3, after Samuel had served with Eli and helped around the tabernacle, it's written, "Meanwhile, the boy Samuel served the Lord by assisting Eli. Now, in those days, messages from the Lord were very rare and visions were quite uncommon." I want you to hear that was a time when messages from the Lord were very rare and the visions from the Lord were quite uncommon. Don't you feel like we're living in those days now where we need to be seeking the Lord and looking for the Lord and listening real closely to hear him speak to us? Here's how the story goes. Verse 2 of 1 Samuel 3 says, "One night Eli, who was almost blind by now, had gone to bed. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was sleeping in the tabernacle near the ark of God. Suddenly the Lord called out, 'Samuel!' 'Yes,' Samuel replied. 'What is it?' And he got up and he ran to Eli. 'Here I am. Did you call me?' 'I didn't call you,' Eli replied. 'Go back to bed.' And so he did." I wonder what Eli thought in that moment. I think I would have been a little annoyed. "No, I didn't call you. Why are you waking me up?" So Samuel went back to bed. Then the Lord called out again, "Samuel!" Again, Samuel got up and went to Eli. "Here I am. Did you call me?" Now, this shows Samuel's willingness to respond to a call even in the middle of the night. But again, Eli didn't call him. He said, "I didn't call you, my son." Eli said, "Go back to bed." Samuel did not know that the Lord, because he had never had a message from the Lord before. So the Lord called a third time, and once more Samuel got up and went to Eli. "Here I am. Did you call me?" Then Eli realized it was the Lord who was calling the boy. So he said to Samuel, "Go and lie down again, and if someone calls again, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went back to bed, and the Lord came and called as before, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel replied, "Speak, Lord, speak, your servant is listening." And the Lord said to Samuel, "I am about to do a shocking thing in Israel." What I want you to notice in this passage is the Lord called to Samuel. Samuel first had to recognize God's voice, which he didn't. Eli had to tell him who it was, and then he had to say, "Yes, Lord, your servant is listening." And not only listening, but willing to obey and to carry that message and that vision out. Now, I'm not speaking about seeing Michael the archangel. I'm not talking about writing a whole new book about Jesus' life, the Gospel of Chris, or the Gospel of whatever your name is. But what I am talking about is being sensitive to the Spirit of God and being willing to do what he calls us to do. When that nudge, when that still small voice, when that whisper occurs in your life, and you know that it's something you're supposed to do, then go ahead and do it. God spoke to Samuel, and yet he did not recognize because it was very rare and uncommon. I hope it's not uncommon in your life, and I hope it's not uncommon in my life. My prayer is Your servant is listening, Lord. Tell me what to do. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching and listening to Truth Tuesday.